For 60 years, if you wanted real power, you bought a V8. It was the default answer. Muscle cars, super sedans, pickup trucks, didn't matter. 8 cylinders, deep growl, done. In 2026, the engineers finally admitted something enthusiasts didn't want to hear. The V8 isn't dying because it's weak. It's dying because a 6-cylinder hybrid just did its job better and cheaper. This is the story of how that happened and why it might be the last engine swap of its kind. Quick history. Why the V8 became the standard. Balance of cylinders means smooth power delivery without the complexity of a V12. American automakers scaled it for trucks and muscle cars in the 50s and 60s. Germany adopted it for luxury sedans in the 70s and 80s to compete on prestige, not just speed. By the 2000s, the V8 wasn't just an engine, it was a status symbol. MG, MRS badges all leaned on it. The sound alone sold cars. Turn point. Emissions regulations tightening through the 2000s. Automakers started downsizing. V8s got smaller displacement, added turbos to compensate. Mercedes's AMG 63 badge quietly moved to a turbo 4-cylinder with a hybrid boost in some models years before 2026. Enthusiasts were furious, but the numbers didn't lie. Smaller, boosted engines were matching or beating old V8 outputs. The industry learned something important here. Buyers said they wanted the V8 sound, but they bought whatever was fastest and cheapest to ensure. This is where it gets specific. The actual 2026 hybrid inline-6 architecture. Automakers found that pairing a straight 6 with electric motors solved 3 problems at once. Better balance than a V8, inline-6 is naturally smoother. Lower cost to manufacture than a V8, and instant torque from electric assist that made the low-end grunt argument for V8s obsolete. Real example. Reference how new inline-6 hybrid platforms are now outperforming outgoing V8 variants in 0 to 60 times while using less fuel. Not a compromise, a straight upgrade on paper. The V8 argument was never really about performance. It's about sound, feel, and heritage. A hybrid inline-6 can be objectively faster and still feel wrong to someone who grew up on a V8 soundtrack. Ask directly, is the industry solving a real problem or just chasing a spec sheet while quietly killing the emotional part of driving? The V8 argument was never really about performance. It's about sound, feel, and heritage. A hybrid inline-6 can be objectively faster and still feel wrong to someone who grew up on a V8 soundtrack. Is the industry solving a real problem or just chasing a spec sheet while quietly killing the emotional part of driving? This isn't the first time an engine layout got killed by something more efficient. Same thing happened to the V12 for most manufacturers, and the inline-6 nearly died out before this comeback. Point. Nothing is permanent in engine design, only what's efficient enough to survive regulations and cost pressure. Which iconic engine dies next? If you grew up loving the V8 sound, drop the car that made you fall in love with it in the comments. And if you want to see what other legendary engines are next on the chopping block, hit subscribe. This channel tracks exactly that.